Alright, in this lesson we're going to be writing the equation of a parabola in standard form. The standard form of an equation of a parabola is written this way. That's the standard form. Okay, what we're going to be given are 2 points that are on the parabola. 2 points. 1 point specifically will be the vertex, and then some other random point that's going to fall on the parabola. We're going to take these 2 points, or ordered pairs. We're going to use them mathematically to find the equation that represents the graph of that parabola. HK represents the vertex. For this particular problem, problem 1, the vertex of this parabola is -1, 4. Another point that falls on this parabola would have ordered pair 1, 0. Alright, so if they give you the vertex and another random point, it might be best for you to put HK above here and XY above here. So let's get a visual of what we're graphing. If the vertex is -1, 4, it would be here. If we have another point on the parabola at 1, 0, it would be here. So this is, at this point, all I know. I don't know if this parabola well, no, I do know if this parabola opens up or down. If this is the vertex right here, if I were to open up off this vertex, I would never capture that point right there. So I guess if I wanted to sketch this graph, if this is the vertex, the only way to intercept this point right here is to have the parabola open downward through that point. So it must look something like something similar to that. Again, if that's the vertex and I have to pass through that point, it has to be a parabola that opens downward. So what we want to do is we want to figure out what's the equation of this parabola in standard form, which means we need not only h and k, which is given, but we also need a. Alright, so mathematically, how are we going to tackle this? Well, let's change f of x to y. Our objective is to figure out what a is. That's the only thing that's unknown to us. We know h and k, x remains in the problem, we need to know a. Well, to help us find a, what we're going to do is we're going to use these values. And everywhere we see x, y, h, k, we're going to insert those values into this equation. And if you think about it, the only thing that will be left unknown to us is a, but we can solve it for a once we know the values of h, k, x, y. Alright, so where y is, we come over here, we choose 0. X is 1. H is -1, so 1 minus -1 becomes 1 plus 1. We have to square that, and we're going to add k. The value of k up here that we're stealing is 4. Alright, so order of operations here. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 squared is 4. I'm going to put the 4 in front of the a. I'll subtract a 4. To get a by itself, I will divide by 4, and dividing 4 into -4 results in -1. So now I'm going to come back up here, and to write the equation in standard form, okay, you can go back to y equals or f of x equals, doesn't matter. A is -1, or just negative quantity. X minus the h, which is x plus 1 squared, plus k, which is 4, and we're done. And it makes sense if this parabola opens downward that a would be -1. So in the next two examples, they're either just going to give us 2 ordered pairs, one being the vertex, one being another point on the parabola, Sometimes in the homework they'll give you just a graph of the parabola, and you have to decide what's the vertex and what's the other point, and just extract that information from the graph. So sometimes they just give you a graph to look at, but you'll have what you need to complete this objective. Oh, let me change that. Let me make that +1. All right, here we go. So the objective is to write the equation in standard form of the parabola that has a vertex stated by this ordered pair and another point on it. So this is the vertex and this is just another point. So if you wanted to draw a visual of what you have, just to know what your equation should kind of look like, 1, -2 would fall here. The other point, -1, 14, would be somewhere way up here. So in order for me to go from the vertex through that point, this graph is going to have to open upward. So my A value should be positive when it's all said and done. Standard form of the equation of a parabola, a quadratic. Right. Do yourself a favor. The vertex is HK. This is XY. Okay, Y is going to be replaced with 14. X will be replaced with -1 minus another 1 for the H, quantity squared, plus, oops, in this case it's minus K because it's -2. Alright, order of operations, let's perform this square first. So -2 squared would be +4. So this becomes 4a minus 2. Add a 2 to the other side, that's 16. Divide both sides by 4, so a is 4. A should be positive because the graph of my parabola opens upward. Okay, come back up here. You can go back to f of x if you want to, or keep y where a is, replace it with the number 4, but keep x in the equation. -1, quantity squared, plus k, or in this case, -2. This doesn't look like a lot of fun, but we're going to write the equation of the parabola in standard form that has a vertex of 1/2, 1, and another point of -2, -21/5. Looks like it might be kind of fraction intensive, but we'll work it out together. So write down the formula we're going to be using. Okay, let's label. This is H, K, X, Y. Alright, X is -2 minus 1/2. Ooh. Square it, and then add the K. Alright, I did mention it's going to be fraction intensive. Let's tackle this first inside the parentheses. So -2 minus 1/2. Well, that's the same thing as -4/2 to get a common denominator. So combining this would give us -5/2. So I don't mind working with fractions when I square them, so that's why I'm doing this as opposed to changing to decimals. Alright, let's see what we have. So this is going to be square the top, square the bottom, so this is going to be 25/4, so this is 25/4 A plus 1. Alright, let's subtract a 1. So when I subtract a 1, I'm really going to subtract 5/5. because 5/5 is negative 1. Alright, so those cancel. This is going to be negative 26/5. Okay, and then I guess I'd multiply by the reciprocal. I'm going to get a by itself by multiplying both sides by 4 over 25. Okay. Alright, these will cancel. A equals, I don't see anything that divides out. I can't divide 25 and 26. There's no common factors with 4 and 5, so it looks like I'm just going to have to multiply the tops together and the bottoms. And I know 5 times 25, or 5/4, is 125. And I think 4 times 26 would be 104. It's not real pretty. It's kind of uncomfortable, but it is what it is. Okay. Alright, we need x minus h. X minus a half plus the k plus 1. So not too bad. Given a vertex and another point, let's use the standard form equation as a formula to help us determine what a is, so that we can then go back and plug in the value of a and the h and k values to get our standard form of the equation of a parabola.